What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. It is Monday, March the 13th, 2023. In today's video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how the Fed just bailed out the banks, why I actually think it's a brilliant move, a number of bullish divergences that have me absolutely convinced that buying TRKA back at 23.5, and the fact that 92% of the selling is over, which means that this bear market is coming to an end. All that and more coming right up. Aloha. Aloha. I've got my beach linen on today, ladies and gentlemen, minus the tan, of course, but it is a gorgeous, very windy day here in Atlanta. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the mid-70s. I'd love to know in the comments below who lives in Hawaii or has visited, because it's one of my lifelong dreams to go, and I'd love to know if you've ever been there. So if I've got any Hawaiians, and I know we do, or you've been, tell me where you went, how it was, while we get you caught up on what's going on in the market. The S&P is up 25 points. The Dow's added 150. NASDAQ's up 1.3%. Our stocks, the last time I looked, were doing very well. As I just mentioned at the open, and I'll explain it in detail, we just bought back for the third time our position in TRKA. PBLA reports earnings on Thursday. BBIG is still a gigantic pile of odorous excrement. ENSC is a screaming buy if you can get it, around 52.53. XCLA's back up over 5. Did you see it? Did you get some? How about it? Did you get some at 048? And Hellbiz got way down to 1170. And I said, all in. I put some money into Hellbiz, XELA, and the rebuy of TRKA. I will explain exactly why I'm all in. And if you didn't hear today's open, why I'm convinced that before I turn 53, exactly a month from today, on April the 13th, by the way, fun fact of the day, real middle name is Aries. How cool is that? I mean, how cool is that? I've never met anyone who had Aries for a middle name. So if you've been to Hawaii, or you've got a middle name, or know someone, or if you've got a zodiac yourself, I'd love to hear, hopefully, from a few dozen of you in the comments. All right. Simply put, the Federal Reserve, and I gave Joe Biden a B+. And by the way, before I forget, we had a number of people, unfortunately, that had to get blocked last night because they show no respect for the guy that you're looking at right now. You'll never see me tear someone apart. I mildly go after Joe Biden and Jim Cramer, who has to be one of the biggest clowns ever to hold a job down on CNBC. But you'll never see me go after, isn't he wrong all the time? You'll never see me go after an average Joe or a Jill. Never. Not unless they take a swing at me first. So if you're going to say something that disagrees with my point of view, I've got no problem. But if you cross the line, I'm going to block you. But I had an issue or two last night where I said, and I've said it many times before, that I think Joe Biden's the worst fucking president in the history of this country. He's a clown. He's got cognitive problems. He may, in fact, have dementia. They jack him up on Adderall just to get him to walk across the White House yard lawn. I could keep going, and I will at some other point. But today, I want to say, you know what, Joe Biden, beer nuts, well done. Well done, because they just bailed out the banks without an ounce of cost, at least in the near term, to the consumer. And simply put, what the Fed is doing is they're using interest generated from the FDIC program, and they're offering out short-term bridge loans to banks that might be in trouble. And oh my God, did you see WAL? It got down to 7.5. In last trade I posted a while ago at 27, there are stocks that have tripled off their lows since the panic this morning. All the more reason why you need to tune in, even on Sunday afternoon if duty calls, because I'll talk you off the ledge. Can you imagine being the guy or the gal that sold WAL at 7.5 and is staring it down right now at 27? 350% off the lows, and probably going higher as we get into and beyond Memorial Day. This market Those market makers, as I said in a number of tweets, follow me on Twitter, and please get a premium membership at Try Small Biz. If you think I'm worth $1 a day, whether you got a small business or not, we could certainly use your support. But we had a number of people panic and even more freak out, at least on this channel and over on Twitter, because I can't seem to be able to speak, at least with some of you, my mind. I can dislike Joe Biden. I can think Barack Obama is running the show behind the scenes and shouldn't be, but it doesn't mean that Obama or Slick Willie or even George Bush, one of the dumbest box of rocks ever to hold down the office, wasn't effective at times. Truth be told, we can all find something we like and dislike about every single president. But if you allow your political bias to get in the way of making money, you may have panicked. You may have fell prey, I should say, to the fudsters and sold all your banking stocks. Or you may have sold your XELA to me at 048 and change, staring it down at 0507 right now. Or you may have panicked out of Hellbiz under 12, and at one point it got close to 14 today. The bottom line is this: the bear market is coming to an end. The Fed is offering bridge loans that are at no cost, aka bailout to the public. And as interest rates come down, and if you look at the tips market, again, keeping it simple, it predicts where interest rates are going. It's saying no more hikes. Goldman Sachs put out an announcement last night. They don't see any hikes in the next meeting 10 days from now, but they see a resumption of quarter point hikes in May, June, and or July. Well, because of what we had this morning in WAL, the shutting down of SIVB and Signature Bank in New York. By the way, did you see Bernie Frank is actually a director? Somebody explain to me in the comments, if you didn't comment already, is it any coincidence that they bailed out fat cats in California and New York? And while Biden will come out in front of the cameras before this is over, do you notice today it was all about small business? Yeah, kowtowing to the small business owner. Hey, where's our 10K? Shout out to the great Speak and See. We want our $10,000 idle grant. So if you're going to pander in front of the 24 election, Biden, Beer Nuts Biden, the worst president in fucking history, how about you give us our 10K? All right, I'm getting a little fired up here, ladies and gentlemen. What is that? A couple of F-bombs? I'm going to get shadow banned, so please share this. And for $1 a day, let me know that you support what I'm trying to do, which is what? Help you make money and save money. Keep you from panicking like some of these people did this morning. They are going to be nauseous if they're not already, and it's going to get worse from here on out, because as these loans become effective and as the rates begin to come down, let's say by the summer, and the value of the bonds go up, and that's all it was what's called duration risk in the bond market. A bunch of inexperienced money managers at these mid-tier banks bought a ton of conservative T-bills of all maturities when interest rates were near zero. And the Fed jacked them up in record time, close to 5%, and it created a problem, a credit crunch. And the duration, many of them went way out 30 years. So in simple terms, they're screwed until rates can come down. But if the tips market is true, if what Goldman Sachs at a minimum thinks is true, then the Fed is at, near, or done raising rates. And what's going to happen then? People that bought the lows of WAL or FRC, which last I looked, was up 80% from the lows this morning. Somebody's made a fortune. And there are others, God, please help us with this, that may want to jump out a fucking window because they panicked and they made a mistake. So I need you guys to draw upon this day as a lesson. There is absolutely nothing to gain from panicking. There's nothing to gain from hating me in telling you exactly what's going on. If someone's full of shit, and I'll use Darth Vader as one example, that old turtle that needs to be escorted out of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, in case you're crawling out from under a rock, I take a swing at all of them. And what it really boils down to is, do you stand up for the small business owner? Do you stand up for everyone, regardless of race, color, or creed? Because if you don't, I got a problem with you. I lean slightly right in support of the military. Thanks for your service and less government. And I lean slightly less because I am an equal rights member. And if you want to get under my skin, take a swing at a minority or even someone of the gay and lesbian LGBTQ plus community. You've heard me say I'm not a fan of drag queens shaking their ass in front of a kindergartner. But I am in favor of adults having the right to express themselves on their own terms. That's the way I believe God wants us to get along. I'm trying to use my gift in front of a microphone now to help everyone live your best life. And I can't do it unless you guys let me be myself. With that said, why did I rebuy TRKA, which if you followed my last two recommendations, you could have made 88%. I got in at 50. I got out at 65. I took a lot of crap. Oh, it's going to $10. Wrong. What did I say? And I just tweeted about this. I said the 50-day moving average, when it was running 75, 80 to $1, I said the 50-day moving average is 22. So at 88 or thereabouts, it was 4x away from its 50-day moving average. Almost never see that. It was going to have a reversion to the mean or return to home base, and that's exactly what it did. In fact, and you'll notice after the second time I said buy it in the low 30s last week, I said, and I did a video, sell it at 49 and change. There's another 60% and then leave it alone. And a bunch of you didn't leave it alone. You got sucked in the mid 40s, and then it collapsed as I knew it would, and I watched it all morning long and all afternoon Friday. And I said that Fibonacci 78.6. And by the way, a little history for you. Those lines of demarcation, so to speak, are named after an Italian mathematician. And some of you may not know this, but he also went by the name of Leonardo Pisano, Pisano. In full disclosure, I have Irish and Sicilian in my blood. So Fibonacci, or Leonardo Pisano, is responsible for why we bought the stock at 23. Why? It bounced off 21 and change, the 78.6 fib. It hit, obviously, the 50-day moving average, which a strong stock would, at 22 and change. I then what? I waited for signs of life. It bounced to 23, boom, put out the tweet immediately, by half a position. Then it got away from us, went to 25 and change. On the way back down at 24, I filled the order. And then as Larry Poulin and others pointed out, it actually went down below 23 again, only to zoom up to 26 and change. Last trade on TRKA, 25 and a half. So if you're in at 23 and a half or thereabouts, you're welcome. And for all you price target fanatics, I'm obviously in it because I think it could bounce into the low to mid 30s, especially if this market settles down and we get more of a bazooka from the Fed by the later this week, which we will, and I'll talk about that another day. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, this bear market is coming to an end. I am worth $1 a day, so please get a premium membership at trysmallbiz.com and follow me at trysmallbiz, because as I said earlier today, the last 3 videos, now going on 4, and 300 plus tweets should be idolized in memoriam or memorialized, because if you read every single one, and I pin the tweets at the top in terms of what to buy or sell, you'll notice that I've been dead fucking right for the last several weeks. And if you listen to me and invest $1 a day, I can dedicate myself to you and your family for the next 10, 20, or even 30 years. So until next time, always remember, ladies and gentlemen, that I love you and I really appreciate you watching.